it's Jillian here. So I am here with Michael, and he put together this amazing guest post for us, and I'm so excited. But I had a couple follow-up questions. So we're at FinCon, but we have these awesome badges. We found the quietest place. We'll probably be interrupted because there's like 2,000 people here. But I really wanted to get to a couple of these questions I had. And the first one was when you put together, you did the mentoring question exercise, you put together your ideal day, your year. What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, so for us right now, it was just a helpful exercise to help us put some structure around our day. So we started in on creating kind of what would our ideal day look like, and pretty quickly started thinking in terms of the weekly things we'd want to include and the monthly, only so many times per month, only so many times per year, and just brought some, more. We're fairly intentional people, but it brought a little more intentionality to our scheduling of our time. So, we introduced. We had been considering a gym membership for a while, but we're always reluctant to take on any recurring expenses like that we don't need to. So, but the gym membership's been, and the scheduling that into our lives has been a really positive thing for us. You know.
Because we had talked this summer, because they came to visit me in Montana, which you all should do, because it's awesome. But how we kind of feel guilty when we're working a 9-to-5 job, and we're gone, and our kids are in childcare for 8-9 hours, then to put them in childcare for another hour so we can go work out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, so my wife and I are kind of stay-at-home parents. I have a pretty pretty light work schedule right now, so we were kind of defaulting to just both being around for the kids and carving out time that not only that I can go work on things, but then also that my wife can have downtime, just go to a cafe, relax.
It's like the mom dream.
Right, and for her, writing articles on the site now, she'll sit down and do that for a little while. So
and that's so awesome. One of the weird benefits for parents, especially of these mini retirements, is just being able to have enough margin to do all of the things that really matter and not feel bad about it. We shouldn't feel bad about doing good things.
Right.
Taking care of our bodies. We
Agreed,
should be able to feel good about those good things. So as far as your yearly schedule, I know you did quite a bit of travel last year. After getting that travel kind of under your belt, what do you feel like is the right mix for you guys, where you have that adventure, you have those experiences, but you have some home time too?
Right. So I really want to, what I like is kind of the rhythm of last year, where we had it looked like 5 months of travel and then 7 months at home. Next year it'll probably be 3 or 4 months of travel and 7 months at home. We're almost certainly going back to Cuenca, Ecuador.
That's awesome.
In the winter, and so I'd like to do something like that again. And additionally, want to go to 1 or 2 retreats. FinCon is kind of sort of conferences or retreats to meet my tribe and hang out with people. So those are the kind of things that we're, as well as just retreats for Ellen go have some alone time, or for me to go, I'd love to go on an RV trip with just my son. He's at an age where I think he would think that was amazing, so just reflecting on all those kind of things we'd like and then building them into our lives.
Yeah, I was talking to another guy who's doing a mini retirement, and how the only reason he was able to come to FinCon was because he's on his mini retirement. If he only had 2 weeks of vacation,
couldn't spend it.
Love FinCon, not giving it 4 days of my vacation. That's because your family time is so tight that to take that for a girls' weekend or conferences like this, it's if that's the only time we get to visit our family.
And I assume it's this way for people that, our vacations historically have been always almost 100% let's go visit family here, there, the other, so, or have them host them at our house and stuff. So.
Yeah, I know. So that is awesome. So I know a whole bunch of people are going to want to know this, because I get this question a ton, because it creates a lot of fear, is how did you negotiate this with your employer?
So I'm the co-owner of a company, and it was a process, probably not worth going into this, but we arrived at a mutually agreeable contract where I work a limited number of hours. It works out to be fewer than 10 hours a week. And it gives me it's a positive contribution to my life. It actually, at 40 to 50 hours a week, I never felt abused by any means, but much beyond that with the, little kids at home, I didn't feel good about. So it lets me continue to contribute in my company, continue to stay involved in my company, but not have to miss out too much on my kids' childhood. I feel like the 5 years before they start school, 5, 6 years before they're in school, is going to be the largest percentage of time I ever have with them. You know, I'm going to have a diminishing amount of their attention and time, and I want to take advantage of that now while I can. So.
Well, and it's the time, like, as a pro and a con, like, you never feel more loved than when your kids are little, because they just want to be with you and on you and talking to you all the time. Like, you're their favorite person, and they just can't. It's like, we've read this book 12 times. I don't care. Like, let's read it.
Yep, again.
Where that slowly, you know, pros and cons changes over the years, where they're like, I'm okay. Like, we don't have to talk all the time.
Or see you.
Or hang out. That's awesome. Like, I think 10 hours, and that's such a great example of how you can have this great thing in your life, but if it's too much or too little, then it's not fun. You know, being able to work out is great. If you had to work out 10 hours a day, it's not fun anymore. Like, 1 hour a day is amazing. 10 hours a day is bad.
Right.
And honestly, I think most people feel the same way about rest. Like, rest is great. And if we can have like 2 or 3 hours of rest a day, that's amazing. 12 hours of rest a day is boring.
Exactly,
like, finding that balance that fills us up as people, whether, you know, for your wife it's the writing or doing a little bit of work where you're like, oh yeah, I remember I have useful skills I can contribute. But it, like, there's space in the rest of your life. That is
wonderful.
awesome. Do you feel like, as kind of like a high value employee, do you feel like it was easier to have that conversation, and like, how did you try to frame it as kind of a win for them as well?
There's a number of, so in my company, I'm, you know, system administrator for a number of the systems I set up. I'm our, you know, HSA fiduciary. There's our 401k plan sponsor and fiduciary. So there's things that could be handed off to somebody else, but it's easy enough to just have me continue doing those things without necessarily having to have somebody bother with it. So it's, it was, you know, I think we've arrived at a place where I can, you know, they recognize that my contributions have value. They still have access to me for projects as needed, and but then I also still get a lot of free time. That's what it looks like for us right now.
I love it. I love it. Like, there's so many. I think what you guys are doing is really smart in that realizing that life isn't going to be the same year repeated over and over, like 30 different times. Like, it changes every year, and our situations change and opportunities change, and just having that flexibility to say, well, let's just see what comes. Like, let's see what happens in 2 years or 5 years, instead of like, no, this is our one schedule. We're just going to do this every day for like the next 30 years. Because real life doesn't work that way. It never works that way. Well, thank you so much for doing the guest post. I'm so excited to share just these stories with you all, the different ways people put this together and they make it work, and why it matters to them. So we're going to go have some more fun at FinCon. I wish you all were here, but this is the best I can do. So I will talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks.